anyways, the point is that, yes, I think having the first dollar get across is very important, but if you can reframe it from that experience points perspective, that there's probably before that you have to, like, level 1 is that you have to understand that it's my fault. Level 2 is that you have to use what you have, not what you wish you had, to get to where you want to go. And where you want to go isn't 100 steps forward, it's just the next step. And so, like, I don't think that anger drives me as much as it used to, but it was everything that I had when I started. And so if I had listened to the positivity mantra when I started, I never would have gotten going because nothing made me feel happy. And so they were like, follow your passion. And I was like, my passion is to not be poor and to not be here in Baltimore. That's my passion, is not be here. And so that's what drove me. And so I think that it just needs to be restated that, like, is that the goal? Sure. But is that necessary to start? No, it's not. And so I can tell you that even when I was angry, and getting through that, making more money did make my life better. Like, I had more ability to deal with inconveniences, hassles, health issues from family members that I had to foot the bill for, like all these things. Like, money can provide value. And so I'll say this thing that a mentor told me. He said, money does not buy happiness, but it can help you avoid pain. And so, like, I think that there's nothing wrong with with making money. Obviously, I like doing it. But I just hate people who espouse that you have to feel a certain way to win, or that you're angry or sad or in pain or ashamed is somehow wrong. And so I just, like, you have to meet success where you're at. And if the first step you have to take out of anger, and the next step you have to take out of sadness, and the next one you have to take out of shame, and use that to propel yourself forward, all that matters is you take the step. And one of the things that I always like, because for a very long time I didn't consider myself a good person. I mean, I still probably don't, but in terms of, like, I always identified with the villain and the oppressor in most scenarios, which is bad. But anyways, but there's a point to this, is that I never thought that I deserved the good life. I didn't think I deserved the happy ending. I'll put it that way. And so the thing that got me through that was the idea, and this felt like, honestly, like gaming the system. So, like, from the evil side, was that I could still get the good guy's ending if I just did the thing that they do to get the ending. So I didn't have to do it with pure intentions. I didn't have to do it as a great guy. But if I just still did the things, I could still get the getting. And I think for me, that realization has been why my ruthless focus on, like, well, what did you do? And to everyone who listens to my stuff, like, it's like, great, throw the emotions out, throw the spiritual energy vibrations out. What do you do? Patience is just figuring out what to do in the meantime. Like, courage is acting as though you weren't afraid. like, what do you do? And then eliminating everything else and then just doing that. And then doing whatever mental tricks you have to do, which is like, there were slaves who worked 7 days a week, so can I. Like, and then alternatively, catastrophizing the alternative path, which is that if I do not do anything, this is what will happen eventually. That pain in the future will be my pain today, and then actively thinking about what that pain would be like, and then seeing if that can make you more uncomfortable than the comfort that you're in. And I think Tom says this. He says, change happens when the pain of staying the same, when the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same. And so if you're comfortable in staying the same, the point is to make yourself more in pain to get yourself to move. And so I think there's a skill in being able to future pace and think through what pain you're going to go through. Like, if you're like, man, okay, I have gained 5 pounds a year and it has been 4 years, so I'm 20 pounds up. Well, if 4 years from now, I'm another 20 pounds heavier, and imagining the snide comments at the holiday party, or if you're a girl, the guy who says, man, she'd be really cute if she lost 40 pounds. Or like, even like, I'm going girl's perspective here. A guy who says something that's like, I would be with her, but she's just too fat. She's just not cute enough. And you're like, wow, that's so politically incorrect. Deal with it. It's fucking life. But the thing is like, your thoughts don't need to be politically correct. They're your thoughts. They're no one else's thoughts. And so whatever you have to do to get yourself there. And for me, the idea that a girl that I would want to be with would be like, I just don't think he's ambitious enough. I don't think he's successful enough. Like those ideas killed me. And so I never wanted to be denied entry to somewhere because I didn't have these things. Now, do I believe that people should be denied entry? No, but I also realize that's the way the world is. And so I think you can balance both beliefs. Like, I'd love things to be different, but I accept the fact that they're not. A friend who supports you is someone who deliberately decreases the possibility of failure. And so if you look at your friends and you ask yourself, does this person increase or decrease the possibility of failure with my goal? It's very easy to answer that question. It's yes or no. It's increase or decrease. There's no in between. Do they increase or they decrease my possibility that I get to my goal? If the answer is decrease, get rid of them. Because imagine that you have a 100% chance of hitting your goal and you have 3 friends that have a 30% decrease. Like, you might now have a fucking, whatever 3 times 3 is, whatever, 27% chance of hitting your goal now because you have 3 terrible friends.
Like negative experience.
Yeah. It's like video games. It's like you've got somebody who's casting like a slow spell on you and you're like moving so slow and you're like weak and like all your hit half power. Like, a lot of people need to shed friendships, but the thing is that it's more that they call them friends, but they're not really friends. They're just there. And they're there because they've always been there, but not because they should be there, but because they're going to help you get to where you want to go. They're just there. They exist. They're not going anywhere. They don't have goals. And they're at a different part in their journey. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to start the path of drinking, learning to double time, you got to live your life and you got to live tomorrow's life and the next day's life and start dragging that towards you, they're upset about it. And so one of the sayings I recently have that I like a lot, which is, there are no social obligations, only social consequences. And the people who want to deliver those consequences often do it by talking to you less and by avoiding you more. They try to spend less time with you and talk to you less, to punish you for the fact that you missed the party, you missed the going out, you didn't show up to their wedding, you didn't show up to their dog's christening or whatever. But the crazy thing is that if you felt obligated to go, then it means you didn't want to go. And that means that you didn't want to go, and the punishment of not going is that you don't have to go more in the future because they avoid you or they don't invite you anymore, then to me that's a win-win. You save today and you save time tomorrow. And I don't understand why people are not willing to deal with that. Like, just looking at what happens rather than whatever emotional noise they make with their face at you. Like, moving past that, great, you expelled air at me, understood, got it. But the outcome is you will no longer invite me, which is what I want. Great, I feel like we won here. And so thinking second and third order outcomes from what happens when I, quote, break up with this friend or what happens when I offend this friend, a lot of times it's you closer to your goal. And I've always been okay with that. And like, if someone, like, the moment I have seen somebody as decreasing the likelihood that I hit my goal, I am happy to tell them that. Like, I think you're not good for me. I don't think you help me hit what I want to hit. And they'd be like, well, then they'll try and downgrade your goals and say you shouldn't believe this way. And then they'll cast their beliefs on you. And for me, it's like, that's amazing that you believe that. I don't believe that, and I don't really want to believe what you believe, because then I would have your life, and I certainly don't want that. And so, like, again, I make about this, but it's like, if you don't like their life, don't listen to what they say. Like, don't take their advice if you don't like what you see. And so, if everyone around you has a life you don't want, then don't listen to any of their advice. Like, and hopefully you're listening to this and you're watching, if there's some element of my life or whatever that you find awesome, cool, then maybe some element of what I can share is helpful for you. But you have to put blinders on, because there is a period of time where and I mean, I've said this, but you're not going to be successful enough for the next tier of friends, but you're too different from the friends that you used to have. And so that middle path is very lonely. But the good thing about loneliness is you've got time. And right now, time's what you need, because you got to learn stuff. You got to get the skills so you can start trading that for more and more money. And then you can take the money and trade that for more money. But in the beginning, you just have time, and that's what you have to spend. And so if you are broke or you are poor and wish to no longer be broke and poor, the first is owning the fact that everything that has to do with your life is your fault. And a lot of people will reject that. And you're right. Stay poor. You're totally right. You'll never be successful. You're totally right. I believe you. The next step is being willing to use what you have rather than what you think you should have or what you wish you had. The circumstances, the connections, the money, whatever. The passion, the purpose, the meaning behind the work. You can wish for all that stuff, but you don't have it. So you have to use what you have. It could be anger, it could be shame, it could be pain, whatever. Then, as soon as you start taking action, everyone around you will collapse and try to pull you down. And so the only way to protect yourself against that is to increase your own approval of self and decrease how much their opinion of you matters. Which means that you have to be proud of you for taking the step and actively look at their lives and think, do I want what they have? If the answer is no, then do not listen to what they say. And then when you do that, you keep walking, you keep taking steps, no matter how painful it is, and you never stop. If you do that, you will get there.